Hey Bob, how you doing?
Hey, Dustin. Glad you could join us.
Absolutely.
And Dustin, you are a business process analyst, and you're going to be talking with us about customer insights. And I love this. Say goodbye to paperwork and email requests with the no-code BPM tool for Office 365. I love the
Yeah,
idea of saying goodbye to paperwork and email requests. Absolutely love that.
I can say, Bob, that so we are in the legal industry here at McKinley Irvin, and sometimes that paperwork is still very literal paperwork. So the more we can get rid of that, the better we're all going to be. So
I
I'm a big
agree.
believer. Yeah.
I agree. So I'm going to let you take it from here.
So we are a family law firm here in the U.S. Pacific Northwest, and we're definitely one of the big players around here in this market, and that really is our goal. How can we adopt this technology to really be a market leader, to spend less time on the items that really don't generate revenue or value for our clients, and really focus in on what can. So that's our challenge. How can we utilize these tools to grow and be smart about it while we're doing it? So as we talked about a little bit, there's a lot of paperwork to be done. There's a lot of standardized requests that have to be processed as just for the standard legal timelines. That means there's a lot of communication going back and forth between our 120 employees. So a lot of requests going, and sometimes those requests just land in an inbox. That presents a risk. If someone is busy or their inbox gets backed up, who's to say that these essential requests don't get noticed and get actioned appropriately? So really that is the goal. How do we make sure that we get these things right every time? So that is what is essential really for our clients and for our business. So we found that we've been experiencing a lot of success, really relying on not only the 365 platform, but also partnering with FlowForma. So FlowForma presents a fantastic no-code process automation system. It's handled a few things for us. One, it's taken these requests out of email. You can still get notified via email, that's fantastic, but you're not relying on that inbox as your source of truth for what still needs to be done out there. So the two examples I'm going to be talking a little bit about are employee onboarding and payment approval. These are items that I think just about any kind of office can relate to. We're always bringing on new people in our efforts to grow, and we have a relatively complex and robust onboarding process. It involves a host of different departments, as I'm sure it does in most firms. And there's also a very substantial amount of technology work that needs to be done on the back end in order to bring these folks online, up and running. And that means a lot of opportunities, again, for missteps if we're not carefully managing this process as we go. So both for that, as well as the process for approving payment flows for our clients. So that's also a very common exercise that we engage in here. And we want to make sure that, again, this gets right every single time. So what we were able to do is stand up those two as our first two automated process flows using FlowForma. And I can tell you that our accounting department was extremely happy once we did so. We're always running into those same issues of ensuring that those requests didn't get lost in the inbox, and making sure that we were getting those back in a timely fashion. The ability for our folks on the requesting side also to see exactly where in the process that their requests are. Sometimes, and maybe we can all relate to this a little bit, part of the frustration we have as people that are requesting items is that we just don't know where something sits. Someone might be working very hard on an item, but if we don't get visibility to that, that can still leave sort of a bad taste in your mouth. But FlowForma gives us the ability to log in and easily see where in or what status our request is currently sitting at. So folks can see exactly, they can know exactly what they can expect and the time frames involved, and it's really smooths out that communication process for them. I can say really quickly that the 365 SharePoint and FlowForma solution for us was fantastic because most of it was already in place. So we were already utilizing 365. We were just starting to utilize some of our SharePoint components, and the ability for us to stand up FlowForma, very straightforward and get up and running was a big seller for us. So yeah, I can wholeheartedly recommend folks give FlowForma a shot. There's a very easy download and trial available. You can, if you've got your Office 365 up and running, just about anyone can do this. There's some simple steps online that will take you through that easy process. I was doing that myself not 6 months ago, so really, really manageable from that standpoint. And yeah, this is how you can reach out to FlowForma.
All right. So Dustin.
Yes.
Got a couple questions for you. I'm going to bring you back
please.
to the contact information. So you're using FlowForma BPN to generate documentation from data captured in your processes, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit more about how you're doing that?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe pick a process in particular.
Yeah, so we'll work on that on our accounting process, because I think that's going to be the easier one to explain.
Okay.
So we have what existed beforehand was our folks would request certain allocations of money that would be spent on our client's behalf. It's a very standard part for paying court fees, for example. So that is a request that would usually have been wrapped up just in an email and then sent off to our accounting department. There we discussed the risks a little bit of those items going into an email inbox. So what FlowForma allows us to do is, once installed, I was able to generate a form that would replace that email. So all of our internal folks would simply need a link to that form, and then with that link, they could then access that form and type in only the relevant information required. Okay. And so these would be some very straightforward items, such as the amount of money involved, the particular account that we would like these funds to be drawn from. And then the real magic happened after the form was submitted. We were able to route those requests automatically through the approval process that would normally require our accounting department to forward that request numerous times amongst the different approvers. Whereas FlowForma allows that process to happen sequentially and automatically. As soon as the user submits the relevant details, depending on a dollar amount, it's going to be routed to different approvers in the firm, and they're then able to either approve or pass back that request, oftentimes asking for more information or for clarification. And then once that process has been routed, the cutting of the check can begin. And we've made sure that we didn't miss any critical details as part of that process.
Sounds interesting. What do you got planned next?
So our big next step is we're starting to get into SQL for Azure to handle some of our bigger data sets. So FlowForma is working with us on that. And we're also excited about getting this really into our production side of the house as well. So the ability for us to generate legal documents in addition to our back-end accounting documents is something that we're really excited about.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, are you using it for e-discovery at all? Because I hear a lot of people wrestling with e-discovery and that whole animal.
The e-discovery is a very is a very big animal right now. I certainly hear a lot about it. I know it's something that AIIM is very interested in. Right now we are not, but I would be shocked if in the future we didn't start to take a look at that as a possible solution.
Okay. And what's your advice to the folks that are listening today and people who will listen to the recorded versions after this? What's your advice for those folks that want to enhance Office 365 with a workflow solution?
I would say jump in. I think it's easy to get to look at the requirements of a system like this and feel like it's maybe a little daunting. And you know what, there are going to be details to work out, and there's always going to be a decent amount of data to manage, but it's really not that bad once you start taking some little bites at it. So if you find yourself an excellent partner and a system that's going to work for you, Office 365 platform is going to treat you very well, and I would totally recommend just taking one process, try a demo, and really get to it. I think I think that once you get a taste of that success in your firm and your place of business can see what it looks like once you've got sort of one in the tank, I think you're going to see some excellent results.
Yep. So pick something, go at it, and
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid of it.
Yep, you've got it.
All right. Well, I thank you so much for joining us today, Dustin. We really do appreciate it, and thanks for sharing all of the things that you're doing with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bob.
All right. You take care now.